Firstly, for a beginner, especially, it depends on the exposure that they have. And by exposure, what I mean is that if they have a group of people that they can speak in English, right? So if they have very limited number of people around them to speak in English or no interactions at all in English, then that is when they'll have to put in more effort, right, to keep up with the language and also to improve upon the language, right? And for the intermediate speaker, of course, if they have developed confidence over the language, just like how you have, then I think they can continue with certain um, practices that they could have tried, right? So, why don't you share with me the practices that you have tried so far that has helped you gain confidence over the language?
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Ma'am, I'm doing fantastic and I'm fit as fiddle. Thank you for your kind concern.
That's great. That's nice to know. How has your day been so far?
Yeah, my day has been going so far so good. Though here is little cold because
Okay.
the temperature is too low and weather is so cold. It's
Oh no.
almost freezing.
Oh
So
no.
yeah,
Okay. All right. So, which is why you seem to be all wrapped up, right?
yeah,
Because of the
true.
extreme weather condition.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Great. Before we start our conversation, it always begins with introduction. So, I would like to know more about you, please.
Sure, ma'am. Well, my name is Shiv. I born and raised in Uttarakhand. By profession, I'm a government employee. As
Mm-hmm.
far as my academic qualification concerned, I'm
Mm-hmm.
done with my master in English,
Mm-hmm.
master in commerce,
Mm-hmm.
and this year I'm pursuing my master in economics.
Great.
Moreover, I run my own small YouTube channel by the name
Mm.
of English with Teacher Shiv, where I
Mm.
upload spoken English content at the same time one-on-one conversational videos so
Mm-hmm.
that I can improve myself at the same
Mm.
time. Or whatever I have learned so far for the last 4 years, I could
Mm.
share with other who are looking for it. That's all from my
Great.
side.
Great, wonderful. I must appreciate that you had a very crisp and clear introduction about yourself, and
Thank you.
good to know that you have such wonderful qualifications and you're running a YouTube channel to help other people who are equally interested in learning.
No, thank you. No.
Okay, how long has it been since you started your YouTube journey of rather creating content?
Well, it has been around 10 months. I have been running my YouTube channel.
Okay, okay. So it's been about 10 months. Okay, great.
Yes.
And where are you currently residing?
At present, I reside in Uttarakhand, but
Okay, you're
I'm
in
not at
Uttarakhand itself.
my home. I'm
Hmm?
somewhere else in my relatives' home in
Okay.
hilly areas. That's why here it's
Okay.
too cold. Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. Great. Wonderful. Okay, so tell me, Mr. Shiv, what would you like to have conversation about today?
Well, ma'am, I just want to know about the best possible resources which are
Hmm.
available around us we
Hmm.
could use in order
Hmm.
to enhance our spoken English,
Hmm.
and those resources that
Hmm.
one beginner or
Hmm.
intermediate speaker like me can
Hmm.
easily utilize in order to
Hmm.
improve our spoken English.
Hmm. Sure, why not? From whatever knowledge and experience I have, I would share it, right? So, firstly, for a beginner, especially, it depends on the exposure that they have. And by exposure, what I mean is that if they have a group of people that they can speak in English, right? So if they have very limited number of people around them to speak in English or no interactions at all in English, then that is when they'll have to put in more effort, right, to keep up with the language and also to improve upon the language, right? And for the intermediate speaker, of course, if they have developed confidence over the language, just like how you have, then I think they can continue with certain um, practices that they could have tried, right? So, why don't you share with me the practices that you have tried so far that has helped you gain confidence over the language?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Hmm.
So I have completed my whole education in my native language, Hindi
Hmm.
itself.
Hmm.
So the day I started, I couldn't introduce myself in English. I
Hmm.
was not able to speak a single sentence in English.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you can simply say that I started from zero.
Hmm.
I started learning this language with the help of an application,
Hmm.
and there I have talked with many co-learners. In fact,
Hmm.
there were some good speakers as well.
Hmm.
I used to listen them a lot,
Hmm.
and
Listen to them a lot, to them.
okay, I used to listen to them a lot,
Hmm.
and after listening to them, I started acquiring information out of it, and
Hmm.
then I started incorporating the same skills they have been using in order
Hmm.
to having conversation with each other.
Hmm.
So that's the first thing I have done. Now, second thing, throughout my journey, I had so many doubts. So in order to clarify those doubts, I started taking help of YouTube videos. For
Hmm.
example, that how could I improve my pronunciation? Then
Hmm.
how can I gain my vocabulary? All
Hmm.
these kind of doubts, I started searching answer of these questions on YouTube. And
Great.
from there only, I got a lot of help.
Hmm.
Then after a certain period of time, I felt that I took English as a language and I didn't learn grammar. I haven't learned grammar in my entire life.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I started learning grammar with the help
Hmm.
of some books,
Hmm.
but I got failed totally. And
Hmm.
then I started watching some videos
Hmm.
on YouTube
Hmm.
related to grammar.
Hmm.
There as well, I didn't get any benefit.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then afterwards, I thought of to not learn
Hmm.
grammar because I
Hmm.
felt
Hmm.
somewhere at the cost of
Hmm.
improving my accuracy,
Hmm.
I'm losing my flow and fluency. So
Hmm.
I felt, okay, let it be.
Hmm.
Whenever I'm speaking, if I'm
Hmm.
able to make people understand what I want to speak,
Hmm.
and if I'm having a healthy and intellectual conversation with people, so
Hmm.
that's fine. And
Hmm.
over a period of time,
Hmm.
I started learning some basic pattern of grammar,
Hmm.
not uh, in a profound way, but
Hmm.
superficially. For
Hmm.
example, someone has said that I have been speaking English for the last 4 years. So I
Hmm.
got that pattern. I have been that
Hmm.
I have been reading books since morning. It has been
Hmm.
raining here since afternoon, like that.
Hmm.
So in
Hmm.
this way, I acquired some basic pattern of grammar. So
Great.
these are the things that I have done.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
one more thing, like it's been around 2 years, I have
Hmm.
been taking my free of cost sessions on
Hmm.
different platforms in
Hmm.
my own WhatsApp group as well,
Hmm.
where I'm answering the questions of beginners and intermediate speakers, whatever
Hmm.
they have in their mind. So I
Excellent.
feel in order to answer them, I need to educate myself first, and I have to
Hmm.
have a very good or deep research about it. Then only
Hmm.
I would able to answer their doubts and questions. So
Hmm.
in order to
Correct.
that, I started
Hmm.
learning from different sources. So
Hmm.
these are some resources I have used in order to improve
Hmm.
my spoken English.
Great. Wonderful. So, if we had to sum up your different practices that you tried and even tested them, and further you went forward with them. So, I think mainly what I see is there has been a lot of listening practice that you have done. right?
True.
So,
True.
listening has played a pivotal role in your learning, right? Because you kept listening to a lot of conversations and sentences and how to form basic sentences. And it could be real time conversations as well, which have helped you, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think listening is one of the most important aspect if you are a beginner or if you're at an intermediate level, right? And you put it across in a very good manner how you had put in a lot of effort, and that becomes our second uh, consideration, right? Wherein effort matters the most, or the other word that we could use is adherence, right? When we
Yeah.
adhere to something, that is when we show consistency in our learning, right? So if there is no adherence, then everything falls apart. At least that is what I believe in, right? Because we may opt for the best platforms, we may opt for the best people to help us improve, but if we don't adhere to it, everything falls flat, right? Yes, and you have been a prime example, I'm sure, that you decided to stick to it and you decided to show the result, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And out of the bugs, one other question I have in my mind that is,
Yes, please. Hmm.
I hope you have heard about AI, like artificial
Yes, I have.
intelligence.
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I want to know from your side
Hmm.
how AI can help us to
Hmm.
improve our spoken English, like those
Hmm.
who are
Hmm.
not able to go outside in order to learn
Hmm.
English,
Hmm.
and they want to learn English in their home only, at their home
Hmm.
only.
Hmm.
So how they can use AI applications in order to
Hmm.
improve their spoken English.
That's a very interesting question, and I'm so glad you're asking me this. AI has been a very powerful tool, as we all know, because there has been dominance of AI in every field, right? It could be medicine, it could be in terms of hotel management, you name it, and every field will show there has been some form of influence of AI, right? When it comes to learning a language, in my opinion, if somebody is unable to step out of their home, or if they are unable to step out of their comfort zone, right? Because for anyone to improve upon any language, stepping out of comfort zone is extremely important. And by comfort zone, what I mean is some people may not have the courage to even step out of their comfort zone and make a conversation or strike a conversation with the other person, right? They may develop anxiety, or they may find it extremely difficult to speak to any new individual, right? So in such cases, I feel AI could make them develop confidence, right? I'm sure there are various upcoming platforms which could be offering AI generated assistance and real time conversations, which could look quite real, right? So, initially, when somebody feels that they should not get any form of judgment, or if they feel that they are finding it extremely difficult to make conversations with real people, I think this would be a suitable tool for them. And eventually, they can transition from the AI format to real time conversations and having conversations with real people. Because I believe, after all, having conversations with real people is what makes it very interesting to learn, right? So that is my opinion, and somehow I weigh having conversations with real people as a bit more than AI generated conversations.
Yeah, and this is all about AI applications. So,
Mm,
what if
mm,
someone wants to use some
mm,
online platforms in order to
Hmm.
improve their spoken English. So, what do
Mhm.
you say about this approach?
Okay. So in that case, I would always take the name of our platform, the English Yari, that they could always try, right? To have conversations with various tutors. But apart from our platform, I am in no position to give opinion, right? So I would suggest them our platform to try.
And how these platform can give benefit to them in order to upskill their spoken English skills.
Hmm. Okay. So when the sessions are customized or they are tailored according to the challenges or difficulties every learner faces, I think that itself will make a learner feel easy, right? When the sessions are tailored to address their difficulties or challenges, automatically they are at ease that their challenges are being addressed, right? So that's the first part. And I believe learning a language or trying to improve upon a language through conversations and various discussions on different topics, that would always be helpful, right? I don't say that trying to have knowledge based on the books will fall flat, but that is equally important, right? So, trying to gain knowledge from the books, especially if you want to understand the rules of the grammar, that is important. But at the same time, when you start having conversations with tutors, like our platform, you start developing confidence. And eventually, you'll notice that you are able to open up and have the same or similar conversations with others in your circle, right? So, this is how
Yeah,
I feel it would help every learner.
yeah, true. Because I took subscription for this application just because of these reason. I had some questions in my mind, and I wanted to get a very authentic answer for those doubts and queries.
Hmm.
And eventually I found like English Yaari application is there, and there are
Hmm.
so many proficient and experienced teachers
Hmm.
who can guide us, who can direct us, and who can give the best possible answers of my questions. So that's why
Right.
I have taken subscription for this application, and I've been asking my doubts and queries to
Hmm.
those tutors with whom I have interacted.
Hmm.
And last question I want to ask you that there are many beginners
Hmm.
and many English learners. They have been
Hmm.
trying their best in order to improve their spoken English,
Right.
but somewhere they are not getting success in this journey.
Hmm. Hmm.
I want to know from your side what are the possible reasons behind it and why they are not able to speak English as they are expecting from themselves, and what could be the best strategies or approach they can go for
Hmm.
to learn this language. What are the best tips and tricks you can suggest to them?
In my opinion, I feel there could be only two reasons for this. If they are unable to reach their learning goal, or if they are not able to achieve it. Number one, they would have given up too early. That is the prime reason, right? Because I've heard this from a lot of people that I tried this, I tried that, but I gave up. I had no patience, right? So, any skill, not just learning language. For example, you want to learn how to cook, or you want to learn how to play a guitar. If you consider any skill and you want to sharpen that skill or improve yourself in that skill, it requires patience and effort, right? And if you start with excitement and motivation, but if you start going down and you give up, that is when you will not achieve that goal that you had set for yourself, right? Number two, the approaches that they would have tried for learning, they may not have been effective or they may not have worked for them, right? For example, some people start grasping very well when they start listening to some content, right? In my case, visualization and visually trying to have conversations, or I may have had conversations with people, has been the most effective way for me to learn and remember, right? So I think they need to discover their strong suit, which will help them learn better or learn effectively, right? So they have to keep experimenting, they have to keep trying different approaches, and eventually they will arrive at a form of learning which will be effective for them and they learn, is what I feel. So this is what I would suggest to any beginner who wants to improve upon language like English or any other.
Yeah, that's true. I totally resonate with your thoughts, whatever you have said.
Hmm.
And yes, I feel the one who has a powerful reason to learn this language and who's very determined and dedicated towards learning this language, the one who can learn it the way he has decided from himself.
Correct.
And here, ma'am, I'm done with my all questions, but
Hmm.
at the end of this conversation, I just
Hmm.
want you to give me the feedback to
Yes.
the way I speak, and since we started interacting with each other, what are the areas of improvement you have noticed so far, in which I need to work upon so that I could speak better as I'm speaking right now?
Sure, I will. I will provide you the feedback. But before that, I wanted to know from you, what are your three learnings after you started creating content for your YouTube channel? What have been your three learnings so far?
Well, ma'am, three things that I have learned.
Hmm.
First thing, I have observed that when I'm speaking,
Hmm.
I'm making a lot of grammar mistakes. And
Okay.
earlier, I
Hmm.
wasn't focusing on those mistakes, but as
Hmm.
soon as I started having conversations with some proficient trainers,
Hmm.
some prominent YouTubers,
Hmm.
and some personality who are really speak English so well,
Hmm.
so I felt like somewhere I just need to work upon my grammar.
Hmm.
Second thing, of my way of speaking,
Hmm.
I do have a bit influence of foreign accent on my spoken English.
Hmm.
I'm trying my best to neutralize it as much
Hmm.
as possible. So this
Hmm.
is second thing that I have learned.
Hmm.
And third thing that I should not speak fast. I
Hmm.
should give pauses when I'm speaking,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I have to work upon my pronunciation because
Hmm.
there are some certain words that I mispronounce just because I haven't learned the art of word stress, like
Hmm.
primary syllable and secondary syllable and stress and all these things. So these days, I'm trying to work upon these
Hmm.
shortcomings which I have and which I have learned
Hmm.
throughout my journey of creating content
Hmm.
through my YouTube channel.
Hmm. Great, wonderful. So it's good to see that you have made a note of the shortcomings that you faced and you have been working upon it, which is a wonderful thing. That's great.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Although I wanted to know that how did you get this interesting accent though? Because I wanted to ask you, but then I waited for the right moment to ask you this.
Well, man, I started learning English with the help of an application, and
Hmm. Hmm.
there I have talked with many native speakers around the world.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And you know very well your environment and your
Hmm.
surrounding plays a very imperative and
Hmm.
indispensable role in your
Hmm.
personality and behavior.
Hmm.
So not
Hmm.
intentionally,
Hmm.
but unintentionally, I
Hmm.
got a bit influence of their accent on my spoken English because I
Okay.
interacted with them a lot.
Sure.
And somewhere I had this concept in my brain that
Hmm.
they are native speaker of English
Hmm.
and I should pronounce words the way they
Hmm.
are pronouncing.
Hmm.
So if they're saying water, I was saying yes, water. If they
Hmm.
were saying like think or
Hmm.
phenomenal or
Hmm.
picture
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
that, and
Hmm.
like my R sound, then
Hmm.
t sound,
Right.
and some
Right.
of my vowels.
Yes.
Like now, it's something that I'm in the middle of nothing.
Hmm.
Neither I'm sounding like a pure American speaker nor British, and
Yes.
as I'm from India, so
Yes.
I do have a amalgamation of three different accents in my spoken
Right.
English.
Right.
So that's why sometimes I pronounce some of words like an Indian speaker pronounce, and
Hmm.
sometimes I pronounce like another
Hmm.
accent. So
Okay.
that's what's
Okay.
happening with me.
Great. Okay. All right. Great. No worries. That is also a form of talent that I appreciate people have, where they are able to imitate the accent and getting it very similar the way the actual speakers would have, right? So that's wonderful. That's great. Okay. All right. So coming now to the feedback. Firstly, I must say, Shiv, that you are a very confident speaker and you have a wonderful way of presenting yourself, right? And the pace with which you're speaking is very comfortable and seems easy for the listener to listen, comprehend, and answer accordingly, right? So that's wonderful. However, I feel when you are having conversations, you can ease down a bit with your body language, right? You don't have to look so uptight and you don't have to sound so formal, though, right? So you can go a bit easy on that. Most importantly, you can try some voice modulations, which would be very beneficial, right? Not just in terms of narrating stories, but when we are having conversations, it's also important to add a personal touch to it, right? So it could be gestures, it could be voice modulation, right? Voice modulation is the only non-verbal cue that I would suggest you to apply, right? Otherwise, your way of presenting yourself is great, right? In terms of grammar and grammatical aspects, there are certain phrases that you make mistakes with, right? For example, you said then afterwards, right? So then afterwards, they both become connecting words and we wouldn't use it together. Either we use then